So at the time of recording this video, let's just back that up a little bit. The time of recording this video, Stanley insulated mug sales are going through the roof, and they're making a killing, nearly 10xing their profit or revenue. But their profit's going to probably follow suit and propel the company into a new realm, a new stratosphere. All thanks to a ridiculous trend that at a time where most consumers, most people are concerned about their jobs and their income and a steady paycheck and are more conscious of their spending, are wasting money because they can buy some sort of mug in a variety of colors that can keep your drink cold through a car fire. Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Welcome back to another video, and welcome to the Twilight Zone, because that is apparently the world that we live in now. Because I gotta tell you guys, there's no drink that I want to last that long, to stay that cold. Otherwise, I'm not really that thirsty. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't have an opinion. My opinion is going to be in relation to this article here by Market Watch, shared on YouTube, about a $45 Stanley water bottle, and it is everything that is wrong with America right now. Now, at the time of recording this video, the percentage of my audience, according to YouTube's analytics, is just under 47% female. Now, I do expect this video to quite possibly rub some people the wrong way. I don't think it would be a Kevin video if it didn't do that, right? But also, I have an expectation that most people probably won't really watch the video or listen to the video, or even in the slightest understand and comprehend what I'm saying in the video. And for that reason, I have to make a choice. I have to make a decision. I have to decide on whether or not I care. Do I care what the comments are going to say on this video? Do I care how many subscribers I lose from this video? Do I care the hate and the backlash and the negativity that I'll have to sift through from this video? Good questions. But at the end of the day, this is part of the problem. And some folks out there say, oh, well, we want the news, we want the truth, we want the information, we want the help, we want to be prepared, this, that, and the other. Well, I hope you're ready for it, because it's harsh, but it's real. But I don't know if everybody's ready to receive it. I don't know if everybody's ready for it. I don't know if everybody understands it. And if you don't consider yourself to be personally, financially well off and financially stable, but you are out here buying $45, $100, $200, $300 insulated cups because they come in a watermelon color, well, I hate to break it to you, it's not them, it's you. It's not them or they holding you back or wanting to see you fall or fail or collapse or starve or die or whatever. It's not them, it's you. But it's also a business model. It's also a strategy. It's been proven to work. And time again, the target market comes through and they deliver. And they plop down cash, dollars, money, credit cards, store cards, gift cards, anything and everything they could possibly use to get their hands on a fad that'll eventually fade away, be worth nothing. And the time, the season will come and go, the debt will remain, the interest will accrue, the problem will persist, and guess what? As soon as that one's done and over with, the next one's right around the corner, and guess who they got waiting in line, standing in line, ready, willing, and able to go through it yet again. It's like a roller coaster ride that you don't even know that you're on, yet you continue to buy tickets and wait in line long lines for this ride, ultimately to be sick. But you can't wait to do it again. And I'm sure that there are some out there who do not fall into the category of targeted female and those who have hit the mark, scratched that itch for Stanley, being some men out there, albeit probably some questionable men that are super interested in some pastel colored water jug with a straw on it. But hey, to each their own. It's 2024. You know, we got a lot of changes going on, got a lot of changes happening. You know, we saw a period of extreme inclusivity and DEI, now switching gears, doing a complete 180 pivot, flip-flopping to a pullback of DEI. But now, believe it or not, I'm not going to include it on this video, but now, believe it or not, we have a new push. And it says here that the FAA's diversity push includes a focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. So, anyone out there looking for a job, anyone out there looking for an opportunity, if you have purchased a Stanley water cup for $100 to $200 to $300 or more, then odds are you probably qualify to be included in the FAA's diversity push, which includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual disabilities. So yeah, there's that. There's a plus side. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. But again, I gotta say this, 100% honest, 100% real, and this is a fad, okay? And this is a very, very profitable fad for this company, and I have no qualms whatsoever against Stanley. They have done nothing wrong. Stanley, much like myself, cannot force you to do anything you don't want to do. I can't force you to watch these videos, and Stanley can't force you to buy their cups. So, hey, what's going on? So when you do, if you do, and obviously this turns out to be a very, very poor decision, then there's no one to blame but yourself, or perhaps maybe your credit card for allowing you the ability to finance these charges. But with that, I have to take a step back and think about it myself. And am I going to be the B or the C? And the B is the business and the C is the consumer. And in this particular situation here, this business is thriving at a time where most businesses are not thriving. And this business is whooping ass, okay? And it's because they have identified something, a strategy, a working strategy, something that has been proven to work, tried and true, tested, and proven success in the past. It's a simple and easy model, and they're going to continue to do this over and over again. Not just Stanley, but Stanley is setting an example, and others are paying attention, and they will follow. In 2024 is going to be the greatest wealth transfer ever, as I have already mentioned before, and a lot of folks are going to get wiped out, blindsided, and they're not even going to see it coming. And after it's all said and done, they're not even going to understand how it happened. They're going to be in a whirlwind as they sit living in their car, if they still have one, sipping out of their watermelon colored Stanley cup. But I digress, because again, as I was saying, I have to make a choice. Am I going to be the B or am I going to be the C? Well, I have always been and I always will be the B. So as the business, I need to focus on proven strategies that are effective, that work, in order to get the C, the consumer, to spend, to buy, to pay, to essentially shell out. And instead of actually getting dollars for cups, I'm getting clicks for videos and views. Works the same. It's just a completely different widget. It's just another medium of exchange. That's all it is. That can be converted into a liquid asset that will ultimately benefit me, the business, more than the consumer in the end. Plain and simple. However, if I were to take that approach and treat my business as a C, as a consumer, and then follow the fad and follow the trend, then I would eventually end up where I belong, where I deserve to be. And that is not profitable, probably in financial trouble, more than likely facing bankruptcy, and with nothing to show for it. And this is, metaphorically speaking, an analogy, an explanation, the best way that I can provide it and deliver it to you. I'm not sure if it's going to connect. I'm not sure if it's going to sink in. I'm probably only going to connect with 1% of 1%. But at the end of the day, I make what I want. I create what I want. And that's it. There's no trend. There's no fad. I'm a business. You're the consumer. You do not have to watch. You do not have to buy. Now, it says here that a $45 Stanley water bottle is everything that's wrong with America right now. And I don't consider, I'm going to read this verbatim here. And I don't consider myself a deeply religious person, but lately I've been thinking of an 11th commandment I'd like to inscribe in stone. Namely, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's $45 water bottle. In case you've missed the news, pricey water bottles are a thing. Specifically, pricey water bottles from Stanley, a brand that has a history going back to 1913. Until a few years ago, it was best known for making everyday insulated drink holders, the kind you might put in a classic metal lunchbox, which Stanley produces as well. Now, the brand's bottles have gone from the utilitarian to the fashion conscious and come in a wide range of styles, sizes, and colors. Do you want the Stanley X Pendleton Wildland Heroes Classic bottle or the Stanley Watermelon Moonshine Quencher, created in partnership with country singer Lainey Wilson? The latter comes in a juicy pink watermelon hue with fresh green details, according to a blog post from the Stanley team, and officials with the brand declined to comment for this story. And yes, the bottle costs $45, at least for the much in-demand 40-ounce Quencher variety, but that's presuming you're not buying one of the truly in-demand bottles that can easily go for $100+ on the resale market. That watermelon moonshine variety, it's selling for $230 on StockX, a secondary market platform. All of which leads me to ask a simple question. America, have you lost your mind? Look, I get that these must be very good water bottles, or at least that's what several Stanley fans I spoke with told me. Key to their appeal is that they keep things cold for so long that you can expect the chill to last not just for hours, but days. A recent viral story involved a Stanley bottle that survived a car fire and the ice inside hadn't melted. Claim to fame here. But let's be honest, this isn't about the big chill. It's about making a basic product a buzzworthy sensation thanks to a very savvy and very modern marketing playbook, and the end result is consumerism gone haywire. As a recent story explained, the Seattle-based Stanley brand's transformation began a few years ago when it brought in former Crocs executive Terrence Reilly as its president. And just as Reilly made clogs cool, he once introduced Peeps candy-themed Crocs. He made water bottles hot by expanding the Stanley product line in that fun watermelon moonshine-minded way. And he had the company tap into all things viral and influencer-friendly. Most important, he played the limited edition game. So the less those bottles became available, the more people wanted them. You now have Stanley fans standing in line for hours on end to buy a bottle when it first goes on sale. And Tiffany Warner, a collector of Stanley bottles who calls Southern Ohio her home, told me it's like a religious watch. Warner has about 30 in her personal stash and resells the occasional in-demand bottle too. But the real bottom line is the bottom line. Stanley's annual sales have soared from $73 million in 2019 to a projected $750 million in 2023, according to CNBC. The shrewd Stanley marketing playbook aside, what makes people covet a $45 water bottle? In a sense, there's nothing new here. Say those who study consumer behavior and psychology, that is, people always fall for fads. It speaks to what Riley Newman, a branding expert, described to me as a form of tribalism that dates back to the survival needs we once had. and you needed to go along with whatever the crowd was doing lest you become shunned, isolated, and left to die. Obviously, that doesn't apply to today's world, and there's no survival penalty for not buying the it product. But we still want to feel part of a group. And in the age of social media, we're terribly conscious when we miss out on the opportunity to do so. That's what the whole FOMO, fear of missing out thing is all about, after all. But at the risk of stating the obvious, what are we talking about missing here? You can buy other water bottles that do the trick for much less money. You'll find product guides recommending models for as little as $6. For that matter, I can't recall the last time I bought a water bottle. I've collected enough of them over the years for free as promo items at conventions, street fairs, and the like. Granted, the ones I gathered aren't in that perfect watermelon hue, nor will they probably keep my water cold until the next millennium. But let me let you in on a little secret. If you want really cold H2O, there's this thing called ice that seems to do the trick. Such kidding aside, I wonder about a culture that seems to have no problem spending all this dough on designer water bottles, but can't put enough money away for retirement, and can't see past the marketing trap laid out for them. I understand we all need a little joy in our lives, and these bottles are a fairly harmless diversion. I'm even a little jealous of Tiffany Warner and her pleasure she takes in her Stanley collection. Quote, "I have two in my hand all the time," she said. "One for water, another for iced coffee." And yet I can't help but think of the price that we pay. Again, Stanley's annual sales are $750 million for those bottles. I'm not alone in thinking about this, of course. Craig Agranoff, a Florida-based marketing expert and university professor, takes particular umbrage at the designer bottle trend because the bottles often just sit in people's cars, which means no one else sees that coveted watermelon moonshine drinking vessel. Who are you impressing, he asks. Jessica Turner, a Nashville-based mom blogger and influencer who has an affiliate relationship with Stanley, naturally has a different point of view. She explained things thusly for me, and I quote, "I don't think you're the target market for the product," and she said, noting that Stanley fans indeed skew female, at least for certain popular models. Perhaps that explains why my wife has been curious about Stanley of late and has eyed a frost-colored bottle as her preferred pick. As for me, I'll stick with whatever free promo bottle I have lying around the house, and I'll keep the ice handy too. So big thank you to Charles Passy for writing this with Market Watch, and Yahoo for providing this and presenting this to me in my feed this morning. And it's clear, folks, Stanley, businesses like Stanley, before in the past and coming up in the future, are all going to capitalize on this marketing trend, this ability to extract and pull money out of your accounts and put it into theirs, turning tremendous revenue and astonishing profits. When, again, folks should probably be more concerned about their own personal finances and the ability to develop and create and produce a retirement fund. But that's not important, because did you see the color of that Stanley water bottle? And I gotta have it because, well, it just came out. They're not making that many of them. It's limited edition. They're selling tickets. There's a long line lining out the door of Target, and I gotta get it before anybody else, because I want to be the envy of wherever I'm going to be the envy of for having this ridiculously expensive water bottle. But I am not the target market. Women. The trend is skewed to females. And Stanley and every other business knows this. And that is how and why they will extract and pull this money out of troubled females for 2024 and beyond. And if you don't know any better, then ultimately you're going to become a victim. But if it puts a smile on your face and it keeps your drink cold for 100 years, I guess it doesn't really matter. Now, does it?
I can tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now all the girls go holler.